Our story begins on a protagonist grapples with his dark impulses towards violence, particularly fixating on Anna Yamada, a popular figure at his school whom he fantasizes about harming nightly, causing him deep self-reproach. Seeking refuge in the library, he observes Anna munching onigiri and finds her mannerisms peculiar, fueling his sinister thoughts. Spotting her without her usual box cutter, he contemplates lending her his own, imagining the consequences. Observing Anna's archaic paper-ripping technique, he offers his cutter, receives her gratitude, then retreats, only to find his cutter absent the next day, leaving him perturbed by Anna's apparent awareness of his belongings and routines. Meanwhile, as the class prepares for presentations, Anna's revamped project and evident distress infuriate him, prompting a futile attempt to shield her tears, only to face ridicule from his peers. His anger escalates upon overhearing lewd remarks about Anna, driving him to flee to the library where he encounters her once more, inadvertently becoming entangled in her playful ruse to evade unwanted attention. Reflecting on their recurring encounters, he impulsively seeks out a magazine mentioned by Anna, only to witness her engaging in peculiar behavior, leaving him perplexed and unsettled. Returning home, he grapples with his inexplicable preoccupation with Anna's affairs, culminating in a reckless stunt to garner her attention, leading to an unexpected moment of connection and laughter, leaving him both perplexed and intrigued by Anna's response.
市川って面白いね。
Later in that day, Kyotaro muses over the sanctity of the library, desiring it as his exclusive refuge. Meanwhile, he observes Yamada indulging in unconventional snacks, her struggle for water leading to a spill promptly attended to by Kyotaro, prompting Yamada's hasty retreat to replenish her supply. In a rush to assist her, Kyotaro retrieves a glass from the home economics room, only to find Yamada managing on her own upon his return. Amidst his contemplation of eliminating her, Yamada's struggle with the heat and Moeko's aid divert his attention. As Yamada seeks relief, Kyotaro ponders her solitary eating habits and unfounded fears of her intent towards him. A tactical maneuver with his box cutter earns Kyotaro a brief respite from class, during which he scrutinizes Yamada's relationships, particularly with Kobayashi, whom he humorously labels Yamada's uncomplaining boyfriend. In a surprising interaction in the library, Yamada offers Kyotaro her fan, unveiling a peculiar revelation about her attire. A moment of vulnerability surfaces when Yamada invites Kyotaro to conceal with her, a proposal he declines, as Kobayashi's arrival prompts a revealing exchange between the two friends. The narrative shifts to the cultural festival preparations with Kyotaro reluctantly aiding in the haunted house setup. Amidst distractions and a brief scare orchestrated by Yamada, Kyotaro becomes entangled in a potentially harmful misunderstanding regarding a gravestone illustration, which he attributes to prevent a confrontation. Collaborating with Hara to rectify the situation, Kyotaro shares a fleeting moment with Yamada, fostering a subtle intimacy before the festival commences. Despite unresolved tensions, Kyotaro acknowledges Haruya's redemption and shares a moment of connection with Yamada over a shared discovery. Their exploration culminates in an unexpected selfie, leaving Kyotaro grappling with the complexity of his feelings amidst the festival's festivities, ultimately concluding on a note of mixed emotions as his class falls short of victory.
本当だ。何何？おいすごい、これ田舎の地図？でしょ。ちなみにこれが私んち。
2年1組。僕らの町の80年前は今年の最優秀賞を受賞した。
In the next day, Kyotaro finds himself grappling with creative inspiration as he contemplates story ideas. Amidst his musings, a headache leads him to the school nurse's office, where he discovers Yamada seeking relief for her stomach issues. her kindness extending to offering him pain relief and inadvertently leaving her gym clothes behind. Struggling with the simple task of returning her belongings, Kyotaro becomes entangled in a comedic exchange with the nurse, culminating in a reluctant mission to reunite Yamada with her forgotten attire, inadvertently leading to another encounter with her curious kindness. Back in class, amidst Adachi's misguided advances towards Yamada, Kyotaro becomes an unwitting messenger, inadvertently swapping a letter for his own drawing, only to uncover Adachi's true intentions and the ensuing fallout of his scheme. As Kyotaro grapples with his burgeoning feelings for Yamada, a basketball mishap reveals a vulnerable side to her, prompting Kyotaro to confront his own emotions, culminating in a realization of his growing affection for her. Navigating a series of misunderstandings and heartfelt moments, Kyotaro's journey of self-discovery intertwines with Yamada's, leading to a poignant gesture of support and a newfound understanding of his feelings as the episode draws to a close.
お菓子を食べてニヤつける山田はやっぱりいつもの山田だった。
In the following day, Kyotaro grapples with the intricacies of developing feelings for someone, particularly as he observes Yamada's culinary pursuits. Intrigued, he trails her to the laboratory, where they embark on a covert cooking venture, only to be caught by a vigilant teacher. Amidst a cleaning duty incident involving Yamada and a girl named Kanaoya, Kyotaro feels compelled to mediate, despite his initial reluctance. As he becomes increasingly entwined in Yamada's world, he finds himself accompanying her to a snack shop, where she confides in him about her basketball struggles. With rumors swirling about contraband food in the library, Kyotaro navigates the aftermath while contemplating its impact on his budding friendship with Yamada. Their serendipitous encounter at a burger joint leads to a candid conversation, solidifying their bond as Kyotaro finds himself increasingly invested in Yamada's world. Their journey toward mutual understanding and companionship culminates in a heartwarming moment of connection, as Yamada extends a gesture of friendship, signaling a promising new phase in their relationship as the episode concludes.
飴をあげよう。どっちがいい？
片方飴じゃねえ。じゃあこっち。
子供だな。
はあ？
In the immediate aftermath, Kyotaro and his classmates embark on a workplace visit, where they're tasked with forming groups based on shared interests. Despite initial complications, Kyotaro finds himself in a group with Adachi, Kanzaki, and Sakini, navigating the intricacies of group dynamics. Observing Yamada and Hara's conversation in the library, Kyotaro is surprised by the depth of their discussion regarding Kanzaki and Hara's relationship status, contrasting it with Kanzaki's perceived perverted tendencies. A chance encounter with Yamada prompts Kyotaro to lend her his raincoat, leading to a series of unexpected interactions as they navigate the rainy streets together, culminating in a heartwarming moment of camaraderie. The following day, their group visits Akita Publishing, where Kyotaro's concerns about Sakina's dominating behavior are overshadowed by Adachi's clumsy attempts to impress Yamada. Amidst the chaos, a brief moment of connection between Kyotaro and Yamada ensues, setting the stage for a series of unforeseen events as they find themselves separated from the group at the train station, setting the stage for new developments in their relationship.
みんなに言ってなかったのか。
聞いてると思ってて。
ああ。
The next story begins with Kyotaro and Yamada waiting for the next train after getting separated from their group. Kyotaro tries to ease the tension by buying Yamada some milk tea and takes responsibility for their predicament. During their train ride, they engage in a candid conversation about relationships, with Yamada expressing her belief in the allure of secretive relationships. Upon reuniting with Kobayashi and the others, Yamada receives an apology from Kobayashi for leaving her behind. Back at home, Kyotaro shares his frustrations about his workplace visit group with his family, finding solace in his sister's acknowledgement of his newfound enjoyment at school. At school, Kyotaro encounters Yamada, who surprises him with manga volumes of Kimi Iro Octave, explaining that she'll be leaving early and wants him to have them. Kyotaro reflects on Yamada's frequent absences and her passion for reading in the library. Their interaction leads to a playful scuffle and an intimate moment, leaving Kyotaro pondering the authenticity of his feelings for Yamada. Later, Adachi's intrusive questioning about Yamada's personal life frustrates Kyotaro, prompting him to question his emotions further. When they discover a warning sign in the library, Kyotaro investigates the source, leading to a revelation about Yamada's secret snack stash. Despite the risk, Yamada resolves to continue her library visits, prompting Kyotaro to reflect on their evolving relationship. The episode closes with Kyotaro's curiosity piqued by Yamada's mention of a bag of chips from their first encounter, leaving him wondering about its fate.
危なかった。さすがにキモかったか。ごめん。だって募集どころか出禁になるかと。
In the following day, Kyotaro finds himself intrigued by a TV show called Columbus Gakuen, featuring Yamada, but he misses the broadcast. At school, he grapples with his feelings for Yamada, ultimately deciding to maintain the status quo. During a marathon, Kyotaro and Yamada engage in friendly banter, with Yamada complimenting Kyotaro's eye. After the race, they realize they've swapped vests, leading to a series of comedic misunderstandings. In class, Kyotaro anxiously tries to alert Yamada about the vest mix-up, but she remains oblivious. Their interactions are further complicated when they switch seats, with Kyotaro ending up behind Yamada and Adachi beside her. As Kyotaro tries to navigate the seating arrangement, Yamada's mood shifts, leaving him puzzled until they share a moment of intimacy, where Kyotaro clarifies his feelings for her. Later, Kyotaro overhears Yamada's excitement about her role in a film, but he notices her subdued reaction, leading to a heartfelt conversation between them. At home, Kyotaro watches the TV show featuring Yamada, conflicted by his mixed emotions. The next day, he witnesses Yamada's enthusiastic response to her role, unaware that she's unwittingly distributed a fake autograph. The episode ends with Yamada and her friends sharing a laugh, unaware of the chaos their actions have caused.
終わり。
セリフの練習は
もう言えない。
In the following episode, Kyotaro finds himself helping Kobayashi with math homework, sparking jealousy in Yamada. Kobayashi mentions the upcoming parent-teacher conferences, prompting Yamada to consider studying harder. Kyotaro learns that Yamada has been talking about him, leading to mixed feelings on his part. Later, he observes Adachi getting scolded by his mother and worries about his own upcoming conference. During the conference, Yamada overhears Kyotaro's mother talking positively about him, and they exchange candies. Afterward, Kyotaro is embarrassed when his mother talks about their encounter. The next day, Kyotaro and Yamada discuss the encounter, leading to an agreement for Kyotaro to tutor her. They encounter the school librarian, prompting Kyotaro to panic about hiding food in the library. On the way home, Kyotaro and Yamada encounter rain, and Yamada offers him her umbrella. Concerned for his safety, Kyotaro declines her offer. but Yamada leaves her belongings with him before departing. At home, Kiyotaro notices food items in Yamada's belongings and wonders about her relationships. He wakes up with a fever the next day but is visited by Yamada, who apologizes for their encounter in the rain and offers him food from school. Kiyotaro invites her inside for tea but faints before he can properly dress. Yamada takes care of him, dressing him warmly and staying by his side until he wakes up. He later learns from his sister about Yamada's gesture and finds a note from her. Despite his fever, Kiyotaro overcomes it and encounters Yamada again, who is suffering from a cold. As they part ways, Yamada watches him walk away, leaving the episode on a poignant note.
随分リアルな夢だ。大きくなったり小さくなったりしないんだな。
In the next episode, Yamada and Kiyotaro discuss line and group chats, with Yamada expressing frustration when Kiyotaro refuses to ask his club about joining their group chat. In class, Sakine reveals her plan to get a boyfriend before Christmas by sharing her line ID with all the boys. Yamada engages in a conversation with Kiyotaro, but Sakine interrupts and asks for Kyotaro's line ID, leading to jealousy from Yamada. Later, Kiyotaro becomes anxious about Yamada exchanging line IDs with Ishimura, the track team's ace, which triggers his jealousy. After recalling their previous conversations, Kiyotaro panics in class, convincing Yamada not to exchange line IDs with Ishimura. Outside of school, Kiyotaro continues reading the manga Yamada lent him and reflects on their relationship. He notices Yamada chatting with another boy, Haruya, who invites Kobayashi to his place to play video games. Yamada tries to dissuade Kobayashi from going, but she insists. Kiyotaro spots Yamada crying in the library and comforts her. Later, he overhears Sakine revealing Haruya's true intentions to Kobayashi. Yamada and Kobayashi decide not to go to Haruya's place, bringing relief to Yamada. Kiyotaro contemplates his feelings towards Yamada and questions whether she has been using him to get closer to Haruya. However, he ultimately realizes that Yamada is not the type to use people and reconciles with her. They exchange line IDs and plan to meet in Shibuya during winter break, ending the episode.
おやすみ。
In the next day, Kiyotaro waits for Yamada at Hachiko to receive the next manga volume from her. When Yamada arrives, she asks him to follow her to a place in the city, and they end up at an eatery where Yamada wants to eat pancakes. As they wait in line, they discuss dating myths, and Kiyotaro compliments Yamada's hair, which was styled by her mother. At the table, Kiyotaro notices the expensive menu items and orders cheap meals. Yamada expresses her fondness for wearing dark clothing, which Kiyotaro finds stylish. However, he starts regretting meeting Yamada outside of school, feeling he can't connect with her on a personal level. When the waitress brings their food, Yamada asks Kiyotaro to take a photo of her eating, but he suggests shooting a video instead. Afterward, they visit a clothing shop where Yamada tries on dresses. Kiyotaro feels uncomfortable when his sister and her friends enter the store, but Yamada hides with him in a booth. Despite his initial reluctance, Kiyotaro opens up about himself to Yamada. They leave the store, and Kiyotaro appreciates the day they had together. On the train home, they get into a tight space and inadvertently hold hands. Kiyotaro worries about Yamada realizing his feelings for her. Back at Kiyotaro's home, Yamada tells him not to say Happy New Year yet, pretending to be Santa. Meanwhile, Kiyotaro wonders if Yamada knows he likes her. As he reads the manga she lent him, he contemplates his feelings and struggles to fall asleep. The episode ends with Kiyotaro imagining a conversation with an imaginary companion, reflecting on his chances with Yamada and his uncertainty about her feelings towards him.
手を離すタイミングがわからないまま僕らはゆっくりゆっくり
The next episode begins with Kiyotaro at a restaurant with Sekine, Haruya, and someone else. Haruya asks Kiyotaro about Yamada, as Kiyotaro notices his arm injury. We then flash back to 4 days ago when Kiyotaro is on a trip to Akita with his family. He shares a room with his sister and worries she'll uncover his connection with Yamada. While taking photos of the snow, Kiyotaro trips and breaks his arm. After returning from the hospital, he sends Yamada a photo of his broken arm. They video call, and Yamada asks about his arm. Kiyotaro's sister interrupts their call, but Kiyotaro assures her they're just friends. Afterward, he exchanges messages with Yamada, who asks if she can call again. They chat about tasks related to themes in Yamada's manga and exchange goodnight texts. Upon returning to Tokyo, Kiyotaro buys a keychain for Yamada in Akita. His sister teases him about Yamada, but he brushes it off. When he meets Yamada to return her manga and scarf, they end up at a park, where Kiyotaro gives her the keychain. Yamada suggests visiting a temple together on New Year's Eve. Back in the present, Kiyotaro realizes Yamada's name popped up on his phone, revealing he lied about not having her line. Haruya demands Yamada's line, but Kiyotaro refuses. Sekine intervenes and asks Kiyotaro to walk her home. Along the way, Kiyotaro admits to Sekine that he thinks he likes Yamada. Later, Kiyotaro calls Yamada to wish her a Happy New Year, but hangs up when he learns Sekine is with her. He vows to confess his feelings to Yamada one day as the episode concludes.
僕からいつかは好きだ。
アンナはゴミ箱が見えないの。
The next morning, Kiyotaro and his family visiting a New Year temple event. Kiyotaro plans to meet up with Yamada later but is surprised when his mother spots her waiting for him. Despite his initial panic, Yamada introduces herself to Kiyotaro's family, and they head to the temple together. As they make their wishes, Yamada helps Kiyotaro since his arm is injured. Afterward, Yamada bids farewell, leaving Kiyotaro plotting to meet her again soon. His sister Kana praises his maturity in the situation and tries to catch up with Yamada to make a better impression. Kana and Kiyotaro find Yamada eating, and Kana invites her to their home. Yamada agrees, and at Kiyotaro's house, they bond over photo albums. Kiyotaro worries when Yamada notices he has a keychain she gave him. Kana embarrasses Kiyotaro by teasing him about Yamada. After Kana leaves, Yamada asks if she can call her sister, surprising Kana. Kiyotaro listens in on their conversation and appreciates Yamada's friendship with his sister. In his room, Yamada asks about Kiyotaro's past friends, leading to an intimate moment between them. In a flashback, Kiyotaro remembers being abandoned by his friends for his interest in murder books. Back in the present, Yamada spooks Kiyotaro at school. As they walk to class, Kiyotaro reflects on how Yamada changed him and confesses his gratitude to her. Yamada gives Kiyotaro a shrimp candy symbolizing their bond as the season episode comes to an end.
これを言いたかったんだな。ありがとう。